Hey, 9mm, my brothers, my keeper was serving that ether before I did features. My mama see that she know how to greet me, she know how to keep me, she better not get greedy. I hit the lottery. Send me your thoughts and you better not lie to me. Like a narcotic. Ain't I'm a product of my new community, ain't I'm a product. Twitching that gas, we blowing up fast, we put on that mask and come on that cash.
Alright kiddos, I'm back. So today we're going to be going back and taking a new look at the very first countdown I ever did, top 10 best Sonic games. And we're going to be redoing that because since then there have been a few new Sonic games added. And frankly that video is awful. So today we're here to commemorate the 4th anniversary of whatever the hell it is I do here. As always, this is a list based primarily off of my own opinion. I'll be taking into account music, gameplay, cinematics, characters, all of the above. So please enjoy this anniversary countdown. In recent months, there has been plenty of turmoil that we've all had to deal with. No matter what side you are on the political spectrum or the gender spectrum, within the last few months you've probably had the general thought in your life of, fuck it. That's why I'm glad there's a game out there that lets you beat the shit out of some animals without fear of criminal charges. Sonic Battle is something I didn't know about for a long time after its release, but hey, it's here now. Essentially, the premise is you've got below average controls and a host of characters that you can fight with. It's kinda like Sonic Fighters, minus the part where you put a gun in your mouth and wait for the calming end. For a GBA title, Sonic Battle has a decent amount of depth to it. There's about 10 characters to choose from, all ranging from being very good to being this fucking atrocious robot. Emerald is just the slowest, mind-numbingly shitty character in the game. I don't even know how he got in the game, considering when you play him, your hands are repulsed from the controller like a bad organ transplant. But I digress. Sonic Battle is a decent game, and that's all I can ask for most Sonic games. So flashback to the mid-2000s, and as George W. Bush is still in the molting process to reveal the inevitable lizard being that lies beneath, a new Sonic game is being released. The year is 2006, and there's a lot of tension in the air. We all need some sort of payoff behind all the hype for the new Sonic, and then finally, Sonic Rivals is released for the PSP. Other than the fact that it was released in the same year as the most atrocious thing ever, Sonic Rivals does some things interestingly right. It's actually built more as a racing game than the traditional platformer. It takes old 2D Sonic elements and places them in a setting where you have to beat an AI to the finish line. Now as a break to the main series, I think this game is great. It's simple, fun, and portable. You can even see some of the creativity that they put into the finer details. Some of the enemies are completely new to the series, such as the Yeetie. Something that must have been named by any number of middle school-aged white kids in 2014. Then there's some of the bosses, like Egg Kong, which is actually fucking Andross from Star Fox. Like, you can't even fake that one. These are the same goddamn things. But what saves the game and gets it on my list is the enjoyability of the break from the main formula and putting standard elements against a bit of a different backdrop. Maybe 2006 wasn't such an awful year after all. You know, some people like certain things for certain reasons. Some people like pineapples on pizza, stupid shows about the Kardashians, and fucking kids. But for me, I have always liked the 3D Sonic games over the 2D Sonic games. However, that doesn't mean I can't enjoy some of the classics. Sonic 2 was a really solid game in terms of developing the formula of the original, by adding some new twists. First you had the addition of Tails as a character, the improved graphics, different levels, and new bosses to sick your bitch on. As to why I like this any more than any other 2D Sonic game, I couldn't really tell you. I've always felt the original to be a bit clunky, and I just think that Sonic 2 has better levels than Sonic 3 or CD. While I'll probably catch flack for that, it will be interesting to see if the upcoming Sonic Mania sways my interest over the 2D Sonics at all. Sonic games have always been known for their speed, good music, and at times, bestiality. But sometimes deviating from that formula can be a good thing. Such can be seen with the 2003 game Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes is a weird mix of team-based gameplay with the original Sonic formula. The game follows 4 teams through 4 intertwining storylines, and they all vary just slightly. But when it boils down to it, you have 3 characters. The speed character, the flight character, and the power character. Even though you'll mostly stay on speed, Sometimes you might use the others. The team concept is interesting and it adds new elements, but what I cannot get past in this game are the team battles. If you've ever wanted to know what it's like to slam your head onto a wooden board about 8 times, then play these rival team battles. Luckily for this game, the rest of it doesn't consist of hitting one button several times to win, and it actually ends up being a kind of interesting game. So I have a certain emotional investment in the early 3D Sonic games because they're what I grew up on. You know, they all had that vague feel of 90s kid type of cool, but even I can admit when a game has just not aged well. Sonic Adventure as a game looks fucking weird when you play it. The camera is kind of off, Sonic's ears move when he talks, and the Bass Pro fishing scene wasn't quite up to today's standards. But you might ask, well, why are you hating on this game? Isn't this a top 10 best list? When are you finally gonna fucking die? It's because I more or less enjoy what the game's led to. When you look past all of the weird dialogue and strange gameplay choices, there are still plenty of great things that were eventually improved on in a later game that we'll talk about in a little bit. But despite how badly Big the Cat sucks, there's still an awesome amount of diversity in speed, emerald hunts, and especially the Omega stages. And it's really something that I think affected the series for the better. Yo, something about this YouTube thing is not working out. Ad revenue's at an all-time low. People are getting flagged. We gotta change something up. Try Minecraft? I mean, okay, if it'll make me money. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Ices Alfredo right here now. Today with the next episode of our Minecraft Let's Play. First, I'd like to shout out our sponsor today, Cellucor Energy Drink, even though I don't know what the outside looks like. And today we're going to be cutting some wood, baby. First, I'd really like you to hit that like button, that comment button, that subscribe button, enter our giveaway. I'm done with this bit. Sonic Lost World as a game doesn't really bug me as much as it bugged other people. Yeah, it's a Mario Galaxy clone, but those games were fun. Why should this be a death sentence for this game? At times, the game fell flat, but it kept up with Sonic's usual campiness and had the usually amazing music to go along with it. I think the issue was that it came at a time in Sonic's life cycle where everyone expected the games to be abysmal, so whenever one came out that wasn't too bad, everyone was like, oh, it's not terrible? What the fuck is that? And it just kind of made them angrier. I don't really understand it. Besides that, the game plays well and has a lot of charm, and it finally introduced some new enemies to the series, so hey, I see no issue with the game. Yo, it's still Pride Month. Can I jump in on this trend? I don't think anything is as refreshing as when a company just takes a kind of dried up concept and says, fuck it.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
And nothing stands out to me more in this regard than Sonic Colors. In terms of games for the Wii, Sonic has had some weird shit going on. At one point he was a knight, sometimes he was competing in the Olympics, and other times he sucked. But finally trying something strange worked when Sonic Colors, a game that didn't have a lot of hype behind it, showed that there was still something you could do with the average platformer. With the addition of the Wisp, plenty of different platforming options open up to the game that weren't there before. There's now the extra dimension of verticality that is added, and allows for some cool extra pathfinding opportunities. Also on top of this, Sonic Colors was really a turning point in the demeanor of Sonic games. It was no longer really focused on the hyper-edgy and realistic scenarios of a hedgehog and his other friends from the forest saving the day and fucking human beings. If you want some realism, check this. Echidnas have 4-headed penises. Yeah, but this whole thing got a whole lot more awkward now. But Sonic Colors has a much lighter and more enjoyable demeanor that seems to be carrying through to the rest of the games in the series. And obligatory Sonic Adventure 2 spot. It's kind of weird putting this game so relatively low on this list despite it being one of my favorite games of all time. I personally think that this was the game that received the most time and love throughout the different games on the list, and that it really shines through. But while that still holds true to this day, I don't think I can go without pointing out some major flaws. For one, this game suffers from what all early 3D Sonic games suffer from: a really mediocre camera. It's sad to let such a small part of production hamper the experience so much, but it is something that a lot of GameCube era games suffer from to begin with. On top of that, there's some really strange plot inconsistencies and weird half relationships, like how Knuckles and Rouge might fuck, but you're not really sure. Yet again, four-headed penis. Also, someone want to tell me why it is a reoccurring thing to have the president personally contact these talking animals to do work for him? Like, you're the president of the United States. You know you have an entire fucking military behind you, right? But looking past that, this game does so much right in its execution of gameplay, music selection, addition of the Chow Garden, and the fucking the cat Easter eggs. Like, come on now, you have to have some balls to stick this bitch in random background scenes. You might as well put a well-shaded middle finger in there. All in all, no one can really take away the prowess that this game has. It will probably always be regarded as one of the best games in the series, and it fully deserves that notoriety. So just when you thought the DeviantArt furry porn scene couldn't get any worse, they introduced the werehog. That makes for some good yiff, let me tell you. So the next chapter in the saga of this series making really weird design choices is Sonic Unleashed. While a lot of people were turned off by the stretchy-armed werewolf, I actually really enjoyed the addition of this style of gameplay. It's primarily because this style of beat-em-up gameplay is my favorite type of game, and I think that the varying pace between the two styles of fast and rapid movement versus slow and more combat-based gameplay made the game a little bit more interesting. BTW, Matthew finally gave me a copy of the game back so now I could beat it. He was doing the intro. Fuck that guy, am I right? But one thing that always stood out for me from this game was the style of music. It really does a nice job of representing the different cultural areas that you visit. While some people might hate this game for its strange addition of gameplay, or out of sheer hate for their own sexual deviation, I for one have always thought it was a great experience for both its speed and its combat. Something that I've really picked up on growing up in this, let's say, unique fan base, is that no one can goddamn decide what formula they want for Sonic. So many people like the 2D Sonic games better, and so many look for the more story-driven 3D games. I myself am slanted towards the 3D games, but really I'll play anything. But what I have found is that a true mix of the two gives the best results. After playing Sonic Generations a couple more times, I realized that it is one of the most succinct and well put together games in the series. Looking back, I don't think I can find a flaw in any single aspect, because it's really just a culmination of the best parts of each of the prior games. It was actually the first time in a while that a new feature was not attempted to be shoehorned into the game. Instead, it just took a step back. It encapsulates all of the good elements of prior games while still making some headway in the series by establishing a new formula that the games are seemingly following today. With all of the news surrounding Sonic Forces, it is becoming clear that the Sonic team intends to take the games in the direction of a hybrid 3D and 2D design, with DeviantArt OCs of course. So that's why I've realized that Sonic Generations is my favorite Sonic game, and why I can only hope that Sonic Forces is just as good. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. I'd like to take a moment before the outro to thank today's sponsor, Cellucor Energy Drink. This advertisement isn't paid, it's just a product placement to help support a company that I like. Cellucor is a pre-workout energy drink, and what you have seen throughout the video is their C4 Neuro line of products. It's a product for gamers and athletes to help improve physical and mental performance, and you can use the coupon code for my channel, SAVE20, to save 20% on your next purchase. Thank you guys so much for watching my anniversary countdown, and thank you especially to my sponsor for this episode, Cellucor Energy Drink. I hope you guys did enjoy a little bit of how I put a spin on the advertisement. Just thought it'd be a funny way to market things. I just wanted to say thank you for 4 years on YouTube. It's a pretty interesting thing to accomplish, and I think it's a lot of fun to make these videos. And I actually want to bring up the fact that I'll be changing a little bit of how I do videos from now on. I want to emphasize getting out more content in a smaller space of time. And to do that, I'm gonna make kind of the same content that I do now, but it's gonna be a little bit less countdownish and a little bit more just kind of like fun scripted content. Like for example, the next thing I'm gonna be doing is a bootleg video on a League of Legends knockoff. Not exactly a countdown, but still the same kind of weird humor. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you then. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you next time.